History made at Thorpe Park with Hyperia's first ever test riders. Alton Towers start construction on their next big ride. And potentially the world's best roller coaster has just opened. All this and more in this month's episode of your Theme Park Monthly News Roundup. Play the intro. First, we head to Thorpe Park as Hyperia has just completed its first ever test runs. As you can see from the footage, it is running very slowly, but don't worry, this won't be the case forever. Although I unfortunately did miss Hyperia's first test runs, a huge group of enthusiasts did gather to watch history be made. After it left the station, it sat on the lift hill for nearly 15 minutes not moving as some final checks were done, and then it slowly went up the lift hill before cresting it and starting its first ever test run. We can see how insane the hang time looks on one of these elements, and it's even crazier that this is all done with a lap bar. Then a few weeks later, footage came out of Hyperia's first ever human riders. We're not too sure who these people are, but we'd assume it's either someone from Mack Rides, the people who made the roller coaster, or someone else involved in the construction. Since then, the coasters continued to test almost daily, and more parts are getting added to the ride day by day. For example, we've just seen the splashdown water jets get put in place, and we've also seen the second train get delivered. Thorpe Park also releases ride statistics on their app, and let me say 15 seconds of airtime is absolutely insane, and bear in mind over 4 seconds of that is all on that one outward banked element. Next, we head north as we visit Alton Towers. Everyone knows 2024 was a massive year for Alton Towers, with Nemesis Reborn opening and an entire Forbidden Valley overhaul. However, they've not messed about when it comes to Project Ocean. Project Ocean is a ride that was set on the site where Funk and Fly once did, and we first heard about this back in February. After planning permission was submitted, people managed to find plans for the ride, and it's confirmed that it's an 18-meter tall attraction which bridges over one of the main pathways in Forbidden Valley. What this ride could be, we're not sure, but rumours do speculate that a small topspin could fit in its place, which would be great because that is where Ripsaw once sat, and a lot of people saying a name for this ride being something like Ripsaw's Revenge would fit in perfectly, as we've just had Nemesis Reborn. Although we don't know much about the ride, a little over a week ago construction fences appeared in Forbidden Valley literally just overnight, and since then more semi-permanent fencing has been put up, which is very similar to the stuff that we saw around Nemesis during its construction. Looking inside the site, there's not a great deal going on, but we do suspect that they're bringing in machinery to begin construction soon. Heading over the pond now, and Top Thrill 2 has just opened for a preview event, and some lucky riders have already been on. Years ago in its place sat Top Thrill Dragster, the predecessor to Top Thrill 2. But due to a piece of metal falling off the ride vehicle whilst it was traversing the layout and unfortunately hitting a guest in the head who was in the queue line for the ride, they decided to shut the ride down. During closer inspection, they decided maybe it's getting a little bit too old, so they decided to rip the ride down and put a brand new one in its place. And at this point, they announced the world's first type of coaster, and Top Thrill 2 was born. This groundbreaking ride was announced with 3 different launches, and one of them that launches you backwards at 101 miles per hour. The ride features vertical spikes, a 420 foot tall top hat element, and it cost around $25 million to make. Many people have also been saying that Top Thrill 2 looks slow off ride, and to that, I'd kind of agree, but with a coaster of that scale, it's almost impossible to tell how fast it's going because you've got such a big ride with such a small ride vehicle. And after seeing some reviews from those who got to ride it on preview day, it seems that it's definitely not slow at all, and all 3 launches are very snappy and very fun, and the highlight mainly being the 3rd backwards launch. That being said, if you have already ridden Top Thrill 2 or you'll be riding it this 2024, then let me know your opinions of it in the comments below. Up next is Universal Great Britain, the theme park in Bedfordshire that's got the entire of the UK very excited. Unlike the London resort, this project actually looks like it's going to go ahead. The first 2 public events for the proposal of Universal Great Britain took place on Saturday the 30th of April, and in this they talk about the site it's on, why they want it to be there, and why they chose Bedfordshire. They also mentioned how good it would be for the economy, creating 20,000 jobs during construction and 10,000 after the theme park opens, and this is expected to expand to 12,000 jobs as the theme park continues to expand. They also brought up in Parliament recently that the budget for this project is a whopping £10 billion. And to put that into perspective, the entire of Merlin was sold to the Two Swords Group in 2008 for £1 billion. And bear in mind, Merlin own all the Legolands, they own all the Sea Life, and they own parks such as Thorpe Park, Alton Towers and Chessington. So £10 billion is a lot. And this then means that Universal clearly have a massive picture for this resort, which makes it even more exciting. If this project does get confirmed, then rumours speculate it it could be in 2024, and after it is confirmed, groundwork and construction could start as early as 2025, with the expected opening date still being somewhere around 2030, which if you think about it, is not even that far away. Already we've had some very exciting stories, but if you're a Harry Potter fan, then you're going to want to listen up, as Warner Brothers have just announced their $115 million investment into the Harry Potter franchise recently. Warner Brothers recently revealed that they spent more than £114 million on their newest attraction, which is the Warner Brothers Studios tour in Tokyo, the making of Harry Potter, which follows a very similar concept to the UK counterpart. Even though a Potter film hasn't been released since 2011 and the franchise has ended, it's still nice to see that they're investing heavily into this movie. With the Tokyo attraction opening only last June, it's really nice and very exciting to see that they're still investing this kind of money into the franchise. That being said, knowing Warner Brothers are willing to spend that kind of money on Harry Potter attractions, who knows where the next one might appear. All you Disney fans are going to want to listen up now, as a huge Magic Kingdom expansion has been announced for Walt Disney World in Florida. It has been labelled by Disney as probably the largest expansion ever. The project is known as Beyond Big Thunder, which was announced during a media event for Disney Imagineering to show off some of their new technology in their biggest facility in California. The project is called Beyond Big Thunder because it will expand Magic Kingdom into a woodland behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Michael Hungden, Walt Disney's site portfolio executive, announced it will be a 14-acre expansion, which is very similar to the size of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. He also stated that a team from Disney is out on a research trip to explore concepts and designs for this expansion area. He also reminded everyone that this will be part of Disney's $60 billion investment into their attraction and theme parks over the next decade, which really secures that it will be happening and they will be meeting this target. During this event, Disney also confirmed that work is underway for a brand new Indiana Jones experience, and this has also been teased by the official Disney accounts over on Instagram. Now, all of that sounds very exciting, but back over in the home turf, we can be very excited for the future of Drayton Manor, as 2024 might be their biggest year ever. Although they're very tight-lipped about their brand new Wild West themed roller coaster, they've just opened their reimagined attraction, The Wave. The Wave is a refurbished and reimagined version of Shockwave, which is a 1994 Intamin and Giovanola stand-up roller coaster. It's the same track, however they have different trains and lap bar restraints, and apparently it's a very comfy and much more pleasant experience than it was before. Because, you know, between you and me, it was pretty horrible before. This, along with some brand new theming pieces, a general area repaint and a bit of a cleanup, is perfect for this area at Drayton Manor. It's also great to see them reinvesting in the thrill attraction market, as when they closed down Apocalypse, their 180-foot Intamin drop tower, it became a little bit worrying that they were going to become solely family orientated, as one of their biggest selling points is Thomasland, their family area. But the Wave has proven otherwise. Although I'm yet to ride it, reviews have said that it's a fantastic variation of this coaster, and it was long overdue these sit-down trains. And many people have said they have fallen back in love with this classic 1994 coaster. However, the day that I recorded this, on the 29th of April, it was shut all day, so that's not so great, Drayton Manor, but keep up the good work. From a reimagined roller coaster straight over to a brand new roller coaster in Germany as we visit Europa Park. Europa Park have opened what is potentially the world's best roller coaster. Voltron Nevera is a Max Striker roller coaster which opened at the park a few days ago. Although it had a bit of a bumpy time a few days prior to opening, with the ride stalling and valleying, causing the ride vehicles to have to be removed by a crane. Although it hasn't done it since, it's still far from ideal. Reports also came in from the opening day of overcrowding in the area where Voltron sits, and hundreds of people push in and many falling to the floor. Although it does seem that everyone is okay. The ride itself has a vertical launch and some insane elements. Watching the POV really shows how well paced the coaster is, and it's got an incredible hourly throughput of 1,600 riders. Just to show you how insane this coaster is, here are all the elements courtesy of RCDB. It starts with the dark show section, it then goes on to a LSM launch lift hill, then a top hat, then a corkscrew, LSM booster, 0G stall, a dive loop, a turntable, an LSM launch which it passes multiple times, a junior scorpion tail, and finishing it all off with 2 corkscrews. I mean, how crazy does that sound? It's also broken 2 world records, one of them having the steepest launch in the world at 105 degrees, and the second one being the most overhead elements on any launch coaster in the world, and that is 7. I could talk about this coaster all day, but I think the POV you've just seen really speaks for itself. And now finally onto the world's tallest, fastest and longest roller coaster at Six Flags Qiddiya in Saudi Arabia. This roller coaster's construction has made some insane progress over the past few months. If you don't know what Falcon's Flight is already, then here is a brief summary. Essentially, Six Flags didn't just want to break the height, speed and length record, they wanted to absolutely smash it out the park. So, they've decided to build a coaster which is 639 feet tall, is 13,943 feet long, and reaches speeds of a staggering 155 miles per hour. I mean, them stats alone are just ridiculous. And the coaster is already well into construction, with the construction workers occasionally sharing the progress of the ride on their own social media platforms. Six Flags Qiddiya isn't even open yet, but a video that's recently been put on YouTube shows a wooden coaster. Now, this does make sense, as according to rcdb.com, the park is projected to open with 8 roller coasters. Now, the park isn't open yet, but people have projected it's going to open late 2024. Now, we think that is very optimistic, with a more realistic projection being more mid to late 2025. Thank you very much for watching this episode of your Theme Park Monthly News Roundup. If you enjoyed, make sure to press like and also press subscribe because it's totally free and it helps the channel out a lot. I'll see you next month.